Hi, my name is Susan Emery from the theater department at Suffolk County Community College. Today we will be sitting down with Stephen Lantz-Gefroh, the director of the Language Archives.
We were looking for a positive play, given the pandemic, right? So about 10 years ago, my wife and I and the members of our company, the Asylum, came across this script. We didn't have the right number of people or the types in our company, so we put it on the back burner. So when we were looking for something to do this semester opposite of Phases, I wanted to do this play. It's one of the most beautiful plays I've ever read. It's about a love story, actually 3 love stories going on at once, 2 unrequited, 1 established, the older couple in the play. It has a beautiful message about communication, which is, we also wanted to bring something into the audience's perception about how simple communication should be, and yet how difficult and sometimes almost impossible it is. So our protagonist is George. He's a linguist. He runs the Language Archive, and his job is to record dying languages. So he brings in people from all over the world who are like the last speakers of their language, and he records them so that we'll have it for posterity. The couple that he brings in, who we see in the first act, are called Elowens. And the Elowens are an 80-year-old couple who bicker constantly. But when they fight, they only fight in English, because English is the language of anger. When we hear them speak their language, it's like this beautiful love song to each other. The unrequited part, George, as brilliant as he is at languages, is unable to communicate with his wife. He's unable to tell her how he actually feels, which eventually, well, I can't give away too much of the plot, but eventually ... right? So it's that, the communication, the lack thereof, and then the discovery of actually how to do it. Rehearsals have all been on Zoom, as were the auditions. And I'm used to that from last semester when we did the first Zoom production here at Suffolk. So we meet 5 nights a week from 6 to 10. We rehearse. And next week on the 29th of March, we finally get into this space. And the kids are chomping at the bit to see each other again. And every night I say, I don't care how excited you are to see each other, we're going to keep this socially distanced, you're always going to wear masks, but you'll be live, you'll be able to see people. And they don't care, they just want to be back. They just want to see their friends again. We wanted to bring the kids back live. So using this same set, Lachlan Loud designed the various areas on the turntable, our playing areas. And he's also, Locke's also in charge of the projections that we're going to use, so that at any given time you'll know exactly where you are because of what those background projections are. Jason Kankel has used his lighting to isolate those areas. So for instance, when we look at the set that we have in front of us, there are 2 distinct acting areas here. But at one point during the show, they're going to be utilized as a living room and a kitchen right next to each other. So unifying those, but at the end of the first act, we have a hospital room and we have the living room from George's place. So by isolating down even further, we get those specific areas. Stephen Green constructed the turntable for Titus Andronicus, which we got hit with the pandemic about a month before that was supposed to open. So that show never went on, but he had this great turntable and he wanted to use it for the second act because we wanted the kids to be live on the second act performances instead of on Zoom. So with labs happening in person every 2 weeks, he was able to construct what we see in front of us now. Andrew Whitcamper is putting together the costumes. He's got the Elowens. The old couple are going to be layered with a lot of stuff because they're coming from their country into the United States. And Andy always has a great creative instinct when it comes to costume. He makes not only the colors and the styles work, but he suits the style to the character, not necessarily to the actor, but to that character, so that when they walk on stage, you don't go, oh, that doesn't work. It's always, I mean, if you're thinking about costumes, it's always, oh, that's perfect. And that's the beauty of working with this design team. I trust Andy to give me what's in his mind because he's read the play and studied the play and knows what he needs. I trust Jason to give me the exact lighting I need, Locke to the great design and the projections, and Stephen Green as the TD. I always know that when I step on that stage, if I have any issues with the set, it'll be fixed in 5 minutes because that's who they are. I want them to appreciate the love that's in the place. This is such a delicate play, and yet it's funny as all get out sometimes, especially when the older couple argue, because they invented their own language. I left it up to the kids to figure out what the language was. There's a lot of dialects in the play, but the audience, what I want the audience to take away is the fact that if you stick with it, the communication will work. When they fight, again in English, it's so nasty, but when they're speaking in their own language to each other, you can feel the love. And these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are doing these roles, these two 80-year-old roles. So for the audience, take away the love, also take away the communication and how you need to strive to keep the communication fresh. One of our problems as a country for the last, how many years has been about communicating across the aisle. Never before in this, I'm in my, mid-60s. I can't remember a time like this in the country where you were turned away from somebody because you weren't with their tribe. You weren't a Democrat, you weren't a Republican. So if you just listen, if you just open yourself up to communicating, you can find that common ground. And in that common ground, you can find the love and acceptance.